All right. Welcome. Our Monday morning gentle yoga series. Thank you all for joining me today. And we will start with some quiet breath work. I invite you to wiggle out your sitting bones, find that comfortable seat, and close the eyes. Have that soft gaze downward. Just begin to deepen the inhales. Extend the exhales out just a little bit longer than the inhale. And take an opportunity this morning, maybe each breath getting a little deeper, a little fuller. Each exhale taking just a fraction of a second longer. And settling into the here and now, the present. We've gathered, we've carved out this hour to move, to breathe, create some space. And 3 in a row. On your next inhale, we're inhaling both arms up overhead. Taking a pause there and finding that slight back bend. Coming back to that tall neutral spine and exhaling hands down through heart center. And then again, big inhale, inhaling both arms up overhead. Another slight back bend. And that's returning to that tall neutral spine, this time as we exhale, twisting right. Gazing over the right shoulder, letting that right hand come behind the chair, behind our back. Left hand finding the outside of the right leg. We can use that hand pressing into the outside of that right knee. Sitting a little taller, generating that twist. And your next inhale, we're inhaling both arms back up overhead. Exhaling, twisting left. Letting the right hand find the outside of that right leg. When it does, big breath in, sit tall, exhale, press away. Generate that twist, straight in the spine. Gazing over the left shoulder. One more breath in here. And out. And your next inhale, we're slowly uncurling both arms back up overhead. Exhaling, hands coming down through heart center. And again, inhaling, both arms up overhead. This time as we exhale, we're dropping that right hand, left hand is leaning over. The right hand can find the hip, can find the chair, the mat, the floor, anywhere you need it to be. We can add some little shoulder circles here with that left arm, just rolling it out. On your next inhale, that right arm rises back up overhead as we exhale. Side bend left. Dropping the left hand, finding that support wherever you find it. And leaning that right hand over. Maybe adding little hip circles, maybe stretching out the neck. Changing our perspective, changing our gaze. Excellent opportunity to add a neck stretch. And your next inhale, left arm rising back up overhead. Exhaling, hands coming down through heart center. And from here, we're making our way to standing. Bringing chairs to the front of the mat with the seats facing us or blocks at the top of the mat. Maybe different place to place the hands for our downward dogs and plank. And finding our mountain pose. feet comfortable distance apart. And get an opportunity to close the eyes or have that soft gaze downward. Giving the toes a little wiggle. Ripping into the mat, grounding down. Noticing that slight bend in the knees, keeping the kneecaps hovering and quads active. The pelvis have that slight tilt in. The spine's tall and the shoulders relaxed. And bring the chin parallel and deepen the breath. Noticing the stillness of the mountain pose, but also all the activity, all the little micro movements. And your next inhale, we're inhaling both arms up overhead. Exhaling, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. And just hanging out, taking a good 3-4 breaths here. First forward fold. And another opportunity to check in with the body. How are the shoulders feeling? Do we want to wrap the forearms behind the calves, squeezing the elbows together? Maybe stillness is your option this morning. Maybe we're playing with putting weight in the heels, weight in the toes. Whichever option we're choosing, we're here for one more big breath in. And out. And then next inhale, we begin slowly uncurling, ragdolling up. Leaving the arms, the shoulder, the neck, the head dangling. Uncurling one vertebra at a time, relaxing the shoulders back and down as we exhale into mountain pose, and then inhaling both arms up. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, right foot steps back, followed by the left. Press the hips up and back. Finding downward dog, why we're here, pedaling out the feet, saying good morning to the hamstrings, bending one knee, dropping the opposite heel. A little closer to the mat, maybe we're pressing away with the palm. Dipping the head down, biceps squeezing the ears. Maybe we're focused on raising our hips to the ceiling, creating that nice long line, tailbone to heels, tailbone to fingertips. Maybe we'll take one more big breath in here. And on that exhale, we try all three out. Press away, dip the head, drop the heels, and then next inhale, floating out to plank. Holding here, pressing away through the palms. Noticing the shoulder blades pull apart, engaging the core. One more breath in. And then as we exhale, slowly lowering elbows, brushing the rib cage, inhaling upward dog, dropping the hips straight into arms, exhaling hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up. Maybe finding that slight back bend at the top and exhaling, hands to heart center. And again, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, left foot steps back, followed by the right, pressing hips up and back. Downward dog, inhaling here, right leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. Adjusting that back foot, starting out, knee over ankle, on the front right foot. Back foot as far back as we feel comfortable. Then we're floating the hands, engaging the core and rising on an inhale. Exhale, settle in, sinking in. Taking that breath in, lengthening, strengthening, stretching, fingers, arms, tall as we can get, pinky finger spinning in. Wonderful, wonderful. We're looking so good this morning. We're all high up on the toe pads of that back foot. It's engaging that back half. How is the breath? Is it slow? Is it steady? Locking our gaze, and next inhale, option to add that slight back bend. And then exhaling, slowly lowering with control. When our hands land, right foot steps back to meet the left, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in and out. And then option to flow, inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower elbows, brushing the rib cage, inhaling upward dog, straighten the arms, dropping the hips. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. And floating the hands. And rising on that inhale. Settling in as we exhale. Beautiful. Loving the focus, loving the concentration. Strength all the way through the fingers, reaching the arms up, trying to grab the ceiling tiles, pinky finger spinning in. And then how much focus, how much effort are we putting in the legs? We want to try to pull the mat apart. Pulling the legs apart. The mat is not going to rip in two, but if we try, we can feel that activation. And locking the gaze. Next inhale, we can add that slight back bend. And then as we exhale, slowly lowering with control, framing the front foot. When our hands arrive, left foot steps back to meet the right, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in. Exhaling, let it go. Option to flow. Next inhale, floating out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Another breath in and out. And next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. And next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up, maybe. Finding slight back bend at the top and exhaling, hands to heart center. And again, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, right foot steps back, followed by left foot, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, inhaling, right leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. This time we're angling that left foot down, just 45 degrees, finding our warrior one feet. So heel is down, not quite pointed all the way towards the mirrors, about halfway. Floating the fingers, and then we're rising on an inhale. Wonderful, looking good. Exhale, sinking in. Another breath in, lengthening. And this time we're going to pulse forward on our exhales. Dipping into the front knee, goalpost in the arm. Inhaling, rising. Exhale, dip in, goalpost. Inhale, rising. One more time. Exhale, dip in, goalpost. Inhale, rising. Exhale, lower it slowly all the way. Pivoting left foot forward as we do when our hands arrive. Right foot steps back to meet the left. Press hips up and back. Downward dog. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Option to flow. Inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. All the flows are optional. Inhale, back bend. Exhale. Down dog, can always hold that down dog. Inhaling, left leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. Dropping that right heel, finding our warrior 1 feet, heel down, 45-degree angle on those right toes, floating the fingers, and then rising on an inhale. Sinking in as we exhale. Another breath in, lengthening, reaching, stretching all the way through the fingers. Arms as tall as we can, and then 3 rounds of goalpost on an exhale, dipping in, goalpost, squeeze shoulder blades together, inhale, rising. Exhale, goalpost, dip in, inhale, rising. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale, rising. This time, exhaling, slowly lowering with control. Pivoting right foot forward when our hands arrive. Left foot steps back to meet the right, pressing hips up and back, downward dog. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then another option to flow. Inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale. Down dog. Another breath in. And out. Next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend the knees, slowly walking feet up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms going out and up. Maybe find that slight back bend and exhaling, hands to heart center. And one more time, inhaling, both arms up overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, placing hands, left foot steps back, followed by the right. Press hips up and back. Downward dog, big breath in. Exhaling, sinking heels down, pressing away. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. And adjusting that back foot, finding our edge. We're getting hopefully a little looser in the hips with each sequence. And we're floating our hands and rising on an inhale. Finding that high lunge from here. We're going to open up into triangle base. Another big breath in. And then as we exhale, straightening the front leg, dropping the back heel, arms out to a T, palms facing the mirror. And then preparing for our triangle. Next inhale, we're just hinging forward. Legs aren't moving. Just trying to shake someone's hand and then eventually dropping that right arm down. Left arm towards 12 o'clock. And then we're using that right arm to generate that twist. Beautiful, beautiful. Checking, watching our intensity on our shoulders, choosing. We can get a really good twist, really good shoulder opener in here, but making sure we're in our own personal zone of ease and effort. Now your next inhale, we're reversing the triangle, just using the core, keeping those arms out of the feet, but now we're bringing that left hand down, the back left leg, and now right arm is reaching overhead, a nice long line, fingers to toes on that right side body. And again, another opportunity to really reach, really stretch, lengthen that right arm. Reach up for the ceiling. From our reverse triangle, one more big breath in here. And then as we exhale, bending into the right knee, arms out to a T, warrior 2, gazing over right middle finger. Another big breath in here, reaching, stretching, lengthening. And then as we exhale, cartwheeling hands down. Pivoting left foot forward when our hands arrive. Right foot steps back to meet the left, pressing hips up and back, downward dog, big breath in. and out. And then option for a flow, inhaling out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping it through. Activating the core. Adjusting the feet, rising on that inhale. Wonderful, sinking in. Another breath in, lengthening, wonderful. We're all up on the toe pads. One last inhale, stretching the arms out. Then as we exhale, triangle prep, dropping the back foot, straightening the front leg. Palms facing the right, excellent. Then beginning to hinge forward. Once we can't hinge anymore, then letting that left arm fall down. Right arm up towards 12 o'clock, choosing our gaze, and then generating that twist. Get a good neck stretch in here, gazing up towards that top arm. Now your next inhale, we're reversing. Hinging at the hips, using that core, right hand traveling down the back leg. Now left arm is reaching in, nice long line, fingers to toes, left side body, rib cage expanding. Feeling, noticing, breathing in to that space. One more breath in, reaching that left arm high as we can. And then as we exhale, exhaling into warrior two. Just bending in to that left knee, arms out to a T, gazing over left middle fingers. Another breath in here, reaching, stretching, fingertip to fingertip. And as we exhale, cartwheeling down, pivoting right foot forward. Eventually stepping left foot back to meet the right, finding downward dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Option to flow, next inhale, floating out to plank. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, up, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. Another breath in and out. And next inhale, gazing at the hands, soft bend in the knees, slowly walking feet up to meet the hands. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, and just hanging out here. Taking notice, where are the fingers? Are they feel a little closer? Have we created that space? Have we lengthened? And taking any intuitive movements that might feel good here, rolling on the back and forth, weight in the heels and toes. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows, swaying back and forth. All together on our next inhale, big, deep, long, slow inhales. We slowly uncurl, ragdolling up. Returning to mountain pose, one vertebrae at a time. And then from here, for our standing balancing block, option to bring a chair to the right side of the mat. Not a have to, but we'll begin. Weight in the right leg, gripping the toes into the mat, arms out to our side, and then beginning to raise that left leg up towards 90. Finding that standing head to knee. Tongue to the roof of the mouth can be helpful. Steady gaze, steady breath, steady body. And next exhale, slowly lower. Wonderful, wonderful focus, wonderful concentration, switching sides. Weight into that left foot and then bringing that right knee up to 90. Taking that spot out on the floor. 6 to 8 feet in front, that little speck. And next exhale, slowly lower. Awesome, awesome. Back to the right foot, tree pose, spreading the toes wide, and then starting with that kickstand, maybe raising the sole of the foot up. We can kickstand right, or left heel on the right ankle, tap the toes up and down. We can raise the sole of the foot up to the calf or knee. And next exhale, slowly lower. Pedaling the feet out. Option to switch chair, switch sides of the chair for tree pose. Other side, grinding down on the left foot, kickstanding the right. And maybe growing the tree from here, growing our branches. Hands can be at heart center. Really anywhere, anywhere we wish to have them. And be whatever tree we want to be. You know, in class and in life, we're the authors of our own stories. Write a good one today. And next exhale, slowly lower. Pedaling the feet out. Bringing the props back to the front of the mat. We're going to make our way. We're going to make our way down to the mat. We're going to come down through squats or wide leg forward fold. Either one. One of those really speaks to you. You know, I really like the wide leg forward fold. So I'm using my props for that half lift. Heels in, toes out, and just bending into one knee, straightening the opposite leg. Some of us are going with the squat. The squat, excellent option as well. Feet in a little closer and just dropping the hips. We can wiggle side to side, pulse up and down, and whichever options we've chosen, making our way down onto our bum. We are going to get right into the back bend. We're swinging our legs around back, making our way down onto our tummies. Chin on the mat, palms about mid-chest, and we're walking the legs long. Really finding as much length as we can here. And then we're going to start off 2 rounds of baby cobra on our inhale, pressing down on the tops of the feet, peeling a couple ribs off the mat. Gaze is down, neck in line with the spine. Little to no weight in the hands, giving the hands a little wiggle, maybe wiggling the fingers. And one more breath in. And exhale, slowly lowering, taking a cheek, getting a little neck stretch in here in between back bends. Returning chin to the mat. Palms mid chest, squeezing elbows in, walking the legs long. Now press down on the tops of the feet, hover the kneecaps, peel a couple ribs off the mat, use that back strength. Loading the hands again. And can we do this with the relaxed face? Can we relax the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw? Stay here for one smooth, easy, nice, deep breath in. And then exhale, slowly lower with control, taking opposite cheek. Arms coming long by our sides. We prepare for half locust, palms up or palms down. We're going to wiggle our hands underneath our thighs. Giving palms down a try and seeing if that is accessible for you. Placing our chin on the mat, walking the toes long. We want as much length in the legs as possible. Then on our inhale, we're floating the feet. We're peeling a couple ribs off the mat. Gaze is still down, neck in line with the spine, just staring at the floor or eyes closed. And then when we bring our attention back to the feet, we want to make sure we're reaching, we're stretching, we have maximum length in those legs, and then add a little height. Begin raising up just a little bit higher. Excellent, excellent. And next exhale, slowly lowering. Taking opposite cheek, ankles falling to the side. One more half locust. We can leave our hands right where they're at. Returning chin to the mat. Walking the legs long. Inhale. Half locust, feet hover. Peel a couple ribs off the mat. Add that smile. Gaze is down, point the toes, reach and stretch, and then raise them up just a little bit more. And next exhale, slowly lower. Taking opposite cheek, ankles falling to the side while we're here, wiggling our hands out. And then we're all bringing them palms down. Cupcaking or spider tipping the fingers, walking the feet long again. And then on inhale, full locust, feet hover, arms hover. Peeling a couple ribs off the mat, using that back strength. Raising the arms up, shoulder blades are squeezing together here. Toes are pointed, legs are long, and then we add a little bit more lift. And then maybe one more rib off of the mat. Beautiful, beautiful full locusts. And then exhale, slowly lower. Taking a couple breaths. One more. To add that smile to returning chin to the mat. Now I invite you to do bow pose here. If you can bend the knees and make contact with the tops of the feet, I invite you to take a bow pose. We're also going to be cueing another full locust. So arms still long by the side. Finding that length in the legs. And then on an inhale, we're raising up. Wonderful, wonderful. If we've made that contact with that bow pose, we want to use that leg strength. Kick the feet into the hands. That leg strength will create the back bend. We're in that full locust. We're taking one more breath in, raising everything up highest point yet, and with a smile on that face as we exhale, slowly lowering, all slowly lowering. Taking opposite cheek. Taking a little breather. And then eventually rolling onto our favorite side. Resting our cheek on our bicep, curling our knees into that nice, safe fetal position. Giving ourselves another breath or two, and then pressing ourselves up to seated, swinging our legs around front. And preparing for some forward folds. Always the option to raise the hips up on a blanket or bolster, just getting the very edge of the pelvis sliding off of that. It helps exaggerate that natural curve in the low back. And we're going to start out single head to knee, bringing the sole of the right foot into the left thigh. Options for blocks under that right hip or under that left knee, depending on how your hamstrings are feeling today. And then from here, we're going to inhale both arms up overhead, turning to face that left leg, and then start that hinge, start that reach, and eventually dropping everything. Now we take a big deep breath in here. And then on that exhale, beginning to creep forward a little bit. And really each exhale, opportunity to soften in. And your next inhale, slowly uncurling. Rising up one vertebrae at a time, switching out our legs, switching out any props we found comfort with. Inhaling both arms up overhead, twisting torso towards that right leg, and then with that back flat as far as we can, just to see how far, reaching, stretching, and then eventually dropping the chin, rounding the spine, letting the hands fall. And then again, first 30 seconds, very little stress, very little strain. Just breathe. Now, next, inhale, big, deep, three-part breath, filling belly, ribs, and chest. And then on that exhale, we're lower. We add a little bit of stretch. We creep the fingers forward. We lower the head down just a smidge. And your next inhale, once again, slowly uncurling. Bending both legs forward, bringing them comfortable distance apart. Still the option, depending on how hamstrings are feeling. Locks under the knees. And we're inhaling both arms up overhead. And then once again, starting with that hinge, with that reach, with that back flat as far as we can. And then eventually rounding, dropping, tucking, letting everything fall. A little bit longer hold on this. We can start to soften in right now. Each exhale, seeing if we can creep forward a little bit more. And maybe on those inhales, there's an option to pull torso away from the hands and feet on the inhales and then dip in, sink in, soften in on the exhales. Next inhale, slowly uncurl. Removing any props we may have been sitting on, and then preparing to lower down, having at least one block with us. We're going to find our inversion, and then from the inversion, fish. So if we know we like our supported fish with the block, we'll have that nearby. But we'll begin here slowly, making our way down. A little bit of core activation as we make our way down and prepare for bridge pose. Bending our knees, soles of the feet on the mat. We have our block nearby, but our hands are extended by our sides. We're scooting our shoulder blades together, rooting down through the shoulder blades and the heels. On an inhale, we're pressing the hips up, making a little more room to tuck the chin to the chest, scooting shoulder blades together a little more, pressing up a little bit higher while we grab that block and begin to position that under our tailbone. We're pressing just a little bit more, and then as we exhale, slowly lower. Allowing the tailbone to rest comfortably on the block. And now we're in our supported bridge. We can stay right here for our inversion. We can bring the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to fall out to the side, adding a gentle hip opener. We can come into supported legs up the wall, bending the knees, bringing them into the chest, and then pressing the feet up towards the ceiling. Any of these, heart is above the head. They're all inversions. They're all ways of just giving the heart a little break. Allowing it to get a fresh supply of oxygen, all the muscles and tendons and joints we worked. And from here, we're eventually all meeting back and with supported bridge. If we have legs up the wall, we're just simply bending the knees and then fall into the chest and slowly lowering the soles of the feet back down. If we're in that supported butterfly, we can bring our palms out to outside of our thighs and gently guide the legs back together before bringing the feet about hip distance apart. And we're all walking our shoulder blades together. And on an inhale, pressing up on the hips, raising off of that block, scooting that block out of the side, and then slowly lowering. One vertebra at a time back down onto the mat. From here, fish pose. If we just want to come into traditional fish pose, we're going to extend our legs long. Maybe slight bend in the knees here. We're going to bring our palms are going to be facing each other, palms facing our legs. Lifting our shoulders up slightly and kind of just scooting our elbows back just a couple inches, inch or two, with weight on the elbows and beginning to lean the head back. The shoulder blades are squeezed together. Weight is in the heels and the elbows and the pelvis, but very little in the top of the head. And your next exhale, you can relax the shoulders down, slide on the head to just slide back onto the mat. And then from here, taking any intuitive movements, give yourself time for a double knee hug or full body stretch. And while we're here, starting to undo our straps. Getting those undone. And for now, just letting them rest across the torso. And once we have that strap, we'll begin by pulling the right knee into the chest. Giving that a little squeeze, rolling that out a little bit. And then giving eventually one more nice tight squeeze. And then getting the strap and getting that strap looped around the bottom of the right foot. We raise that leg up towards 12 o'clock, moving the straps into the right hand. And then on an exhale, that leg is falling out to the right. And then here, our adjustment could be the tension on the strap. Curl that right wrist in a little bit more, adjust where that heel is in relation to the waistline, or just let gravity do the work and not worry too much about it. Nothing is required. And next inhale, raising the right leg back up towards 12 o'clock, moving the straps in the left hand into the exhale, twisting left. Gazing right, letting that leg fall out to the side. And here we can play into, is there any bend in the knee? Still adjusting that tension on the strap. Maybe adjusting the hip position as well. Is the right hip stacked right on top of the left, or pressing it down towards the mat a little bit. Just looking for that perfect spot for us. And next inhale, raising. Right leg back up towards 12 o'clock as we exhale, slowly lowering right leg down to meet the left, stepping into the strap. With the left foot raising that leg up towards the ceiling, strap in the left hand, and as we exhale, left leg falling out to the side. And then choosing that tension. Next inhale, left leg is rising up towards the ceiling, moving the strap in the right hand as we exhale. Twisting, right, gazing left. Making those tiny adjustments. And trying something slightly different. We don't have to try the same thing every time we do this stretch. Try something new. See if you find a different sensation, different area of the body responding well, or maybe not responding well. My next inhale, raising. And left leg back up towards the ceiling as we exhale, slowly lowering left leg down to meet the right, stepping out of the strap. Setting that to the side, and we can counter here with some windshield wipers, bending the knees, soles of the feet on the mat, pinky toes out to find the wood, and then knees falling left and right. We can take these windshield wipers here, and at this time, we can head right into Shavasana whenever you are ready. We can use the blanket for a pillow or a neck roll. Do bolster under the knees or under the ankles. Can use this time for return into an inversion if we wish. Anything at all. Just take in the next 4 minutes just for yourself and your breath. Beginning to deepen the breath. Taking a deep 3-part breath here. And moving back to the fingers and toes with the exhale. Taking any additional stretches here. Another full body stretch, double knee hug, anything at all. We have all day to rush around. Well, it's Monday. We have all day. We have all week to make appointments and worry about being places at certain times. Try not to do it here. But eventually, all making our way back to that comfortable seated position. And closing with one final inhale, inhaling both arms up overhead, gathering new energy for the day, exhaling hands to heart center, sail that in, carry that with us. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to speak to me after class. A wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's so fun. I've seen you for a while. Oh, yeah, it's like that. Very nice.